that I'm so mean because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. I just like, I guess my vibe is like I am.
So she said, oh, you know what, I have OCD. I was just cleaning, and at times I just like get in this mood, and I was just already apologizing because maybe she wanted to clean up a specific way or something.
Yeah.
And then he was probably a little bit more careless, you know. And yeah, so now me watching this as like I see this girl being Gabby, but you being a mom and us being parents, Chelo, if you see this, right, I'm not going with, right, but we have a daughter. If you were to see your daughter having these type of emotions and seeing this, what would it be your reaction to this? And you pay attention to this video, you can see somebody's hand almost reaching out. So let me play it out.
Okay, but why is no
Watch,
one
do you see
talking
that?
about this?
Yes.
What do you see there? Were you able to see it or no? Yeah, like a hand. Look, he's like,
That's
oh
when he
shoot.
realizes like, oh shit, there's
Yeah,
something
and
up
he
there.
points to the camera, right? And they right away they take off.
Yes, there's still theories circulating that Brian Laundrie might be alive. Some speculate he could have escaped and is living off the grid, while others believe he might be in another country. However, there hasn't been any concrete evidence to support these claims. It's a topic that continues to spark debate and speculation among followers of the case.
What are some theories and reasons why people believe that he would still be alive?
People speculate Brian Laundrie could still be alive due to perceived inconsistencies in the investigation and the lack of definitive proof of his death.
And we're live. Chilo, welcome back.
I'm back.
Yeah. Oh,
I keep
shit.
saying I'm gonna be back for the last episode, and you keep bringing me back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm done, and then it's just like, no, another episode.
You'll
You'll make a bed with me, and then I'll lose, and I'm like, all right,
Yeah.
I have to go on.
You're kind of obligated to be on the podcast by default.
No, this is my last episode for real.
You know how many people would want to be here on the Nomas podcast show?
I know, but
But
I'm out.
Tell the people why you don't want to be on the podcast.
I don't know. I just feel like from time to time, I just feel like I go in this funk, and I'm just like, I don't want to be on the podcast. But it's just like,
But why though?
like I don't know. I just don't feel like being on the podcast.
Like being on the podcast or being on camera or anything like that? Or you just
Yeah, exactly. Like right now, I just posted a TikTok right now, but I hadn't posted in like days.
okay. So you feel like social media, it's not really your main thing, or because I know you like social media.
I like social media and I like posting on TikTok, but I just feel like lately I've been like, there's been so many things going on behind the scenes that I'm just like, I don't really feel like if I'm not in a good mood, I'm not gonna put myself on the camera and be like, pretend everything is okay when it's not.
Well, what's not okay?
Like everything that was going on with my grandma, but I don't want to talk about it.
Okay. Gotcha. I was like,
So-
wait, what's going on?
You're like,
What the fuck?
you're like, I'm being left or
For real. Yeah. My name is Angel Houseman. I was just like, yeah. But yeah, anyway, so welcome back to Nomas podcast. My name is Angel Houseman.
and cello.
Yeah, so obviously if you saw the title and the thumbnail of the podcast, then you guys know pretty much what we're going to be talking about. It's a case that happened in 2021, I believe, right?
Yes, I think
So I know this case because I remember it like pretty much like it was yesterday when this case was happening and all the news and the media coverage was taking place on real time. But it just so happens that the case now became a Netflix documentary. And I didn't even know it was on Netflix. And then I think you brought it up, or I think we started seeing TikToks about it. And so, yeah, we ended up watching it. And pretty much I feel like the majority of it was covered through the media, right?
Yes.
Is there anything that kind of like caught your attention on through the documentary that you didn't really know when you saw it real time in the news coverage?
I think if anything, when I saw it on the news, it was just more of I feel like on the news they kept playing over and over the body cam from the police. But I had never seen like the parents actually like give their statements or their point of view.
That's right.
I had never seen that, so
right.
yeah.
Oh, okay. But yeah, so we're gonna get started in a few. By the way, if you see me messing with my mouth, I recently just went to the dentist and there's a little bit of the wire of my braces sticking out a little bit, and it's freaking bothering me. It's like poking me, so I need to get some pliers and cut it or something. Or they told me to put the wax in the meantime, but it's literally like the edge or the very tip of the freaking wire. It's like poking me, and I feel it. So I need to put something there or cut it. But so yeah, if you see me freaking messing with my mouth, it's because it's freaking like cutting me inside. But yeah, so anything else before we get started on the case? Or on the podcast, I should say? No? Okay, well, if you're not too familiar with the case, and obviously it's in Netflix, you guys are more than welcome to watch it and then watch the podcast and see our take and our point of view, and then you guys can watch it, whatnot, however you guys want. But anyways, I'm going to give a quick brief on the case if you're not really too familiar about it, and that way we can get started, and we'll take it from there. Mm-hmm. Cool? Should I do the intro or not? Nah. Yes or no?
Just do it.
All right.
Are you ready? Welcome to Hoy Nomas Podcast with Angel Houseman.
Okay, so the Gabby Petito case gained national attention in 2021 when a 22-year-old Gabby Petito went missing during a cross-country road trip with her fiance, Brian Laundrie. The couple had been documenting their travels on social media, but things took a dark turn when Laundrie returned home to Florida alone in September 1st, 2021, refusing to speak about Gabby's whereabouts. On September 11th, Gabby's family reported her missing and a nationwide search ensued. Body cam footage later surfaced showcasing police stopping the couple in Utah after a domestic dispute. On September 19th, Gabby's remains were found in Wyoming's Grand Teton National Park, and her death was ruled a homicide by strangulation. Laundrie went missing shortly after Gabby was reported dead, sparking a massive manhunt. His remains were found in Florida Nature Reserve on October 20th, 2021, along with a notebook in which admitted responsibility for Gabby's death. His cause of death was determined to be a suicide. Does that sound pretty accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, so where do we begin, Chelo? What do you think should be the first thing? When I think one of the key things that sparked a lot of interest was the case of the body cam. Right?
Yes.
I think overall that's when everything like started, and you can kind of see the type of relationship or the current situation that we're going through, right? Mm-hmm. So what was your take about the body cam footage when you saw it?
I feel like he was taking it as a joke because in some parts he was like laughing it off with the cops, and he said like, "Oh, I hope she's not saying anything too bad about me," and then he laughed it off, and he was just like chilling, even though like allegedly she scratched him on the face and he had like a couple scratches and he had slapped her, but he was just kind of like, oh, it's for him it seemed like it was like something like super normal.
Yeah. So I think people started calling in, right, that there was a man like hitting her,
slapping her.
Yeah, slapping her. And sorry, I think I have the video in the back playing. But yeah, so apparently somebody reported that this man was like slapping his girlfriend, so that's how the cops like got to them, and that's when they discovered the couple.
Yeah, but I think they had somebody had called that there was a guy slapping his girlfriend on the street, but then he hit the curb or he hit something on the road, and that's why they got pulled over. Right. And then they were the same people that they had called for. Yeah.
What in particular caught your attention when the cops pulled him over? for me, I saw a very, very distressed Gabby, right? She was crying.
Yeah, like she
was
had like a full-on panic attack.
yeah, like an anxiety
Yeah.
attack, right? And she felt like it seemed that she was very like,
It's my fault.
yeah, like she just felt like it wasn't her best day, right? And but then you see Brian, and his demeanor was very calm, and like you said, he was even joking around with the cops, and kind of like, oh, okay, I wonder what she's gonna say about like my side of the story.
Yeah, because he was saying like, oh, I hope she doesn't say anything too bad about me.
Right.
He did something along. Like,
So what's your take with all of that? Like, you see both of those different, very, very different, I guess, perspectives, right? One very calm, and then the other one distressed.
well, I feel like that obviously wasn't the first time. I feel like that was probably like their relationship all along.
Yeah.
And he's always been like that towards her. And he probably even like, maybe it's almost like a satisfaction thing seeing her like being like having like a panic attack or an anxiety attack to that point. And I just feel like she was just very depending on him.
Yeah. Okay. I agree, right? Because I can tell she was the one. Okay, no. So now, as you were saying this, I'm kind of like putting two things into perspective, right? So, one, you could tell when she was recording her vlogs, because if you guys already watched the Netflix documentary, she wanted to become a vlogger, a van life vlogger,
Yes.
right? To document their whole travel and journey on their van, and I guess when they uploaded all this different footage on the Netflix documentary, you could see that she was a little bit frustrated when it comes down to the recording and editing the footage and all that stuff, because you can tell that she had a goal and a dream when it comes down to her future with vlogging, right? You can even tell when she's like, damn, like she's trying to like document everything. And there was a one point when she said, well, if you knew how to edit, like you would understand, or something along those lines. So I feel like, so in that case, I get it, because I feel like I'm the same way when it comes down to like, oh man, like I need to get this done, like very goal orientated. And then if you have somebody on the other end that they're more like they're just out there for the ride, then she has mentally, you have a lot of pressure on you, because you're currently thinking of when you're going to be next posting next. You're also thinking about like, you know, what's going to be the next video or the next scene that you're going to be recording to uploading. So there's a lot of things going on in your mind, and you can tell she was a little bit frustrated. And on the other side, you see Brian, he was more just like, kind of, he would just be chilling and just kind of looking at her, kind of like, kind of just going for the ride.
Yeah, but then what if he just didn't want to be part of that? Like, so like, okay, like then he had to be like, oh yeah, I have to do it a fuerzas because she wants to do it.
Yeah, no, well, obviously no. That's a conversation they need to have.
That they should have.
Yeah, exactly. I almost feel like we're talking like it's us. Not because I can relate, right? I can relate to that. So she has this goal, and then if he didn't want to do it, then he should have just been outspoken to like, hey, I don't want to do it. Similar to what he just told me, like, hey, there's times that I'm going through funk and I just don't feel like recording anything.
Now you know.
But you can tell that she had a lot of it in her mind. So maybe when it comes down to like when they got stopped, right? She was probably having those type of thoughts going on, like, oh, you know what? Maybe things are not going the way that she would want, and maybe he's just kind of like, yeah, like I just want to travel. Like I don't really care for anything else. So she's probably already thinking of all that pressure, and I don't know.
Or what if she was okay? Hold on, you're right there. You said, oh, like he was thinking about just traveling, right?
Yeah.
But what if she was the one that wanted to do the whole traveling and she wanted to do the blogging, and Brian didn't want to do any of that, but he was just tagging along because he didn't want them to break up? Because when they interviewed the ex-boyfriend said something like, oh, that's interesting because we, as in the ex and Gabby, had talked about like doing this whole like van life and everything she was doing with Brian, she had talked about doing the same thing with the ex.
That's a good point.
So to me there, it was more of like she wanted the van life and she wanted to do the blogging and everything. And Brian was probably like, fuck, like, I don't want to do that. But maybe he was just kind of like, if I don't, then she's probably just going to break up with me. So I'd rather like fake it.
Well, remember the part that she was kind of already distancing herself from Brian, right? She was spending a lot of time with I think
best friend.
Well, she was working. She had a job already, I think, at a Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And then now after work, she was spending a lot of time with her best friend, right? So
Yes.
he felt kind of like being
Like,
left.
yeah.
Yeah, he felt like he was being left behind, right? So he was trying to find always different types of excuses and put the blame towards her, right? So now taking it back, so maybe, and I think that was the case. So I think maybe Gabby probably mentioned all of this about the whole van life. So he probably used that towards his advantage, like, hey, like, let's do it. You know, let's make it happen. But knowing that was going to be his, I guess the only way for him to be with her 100%, because she was going to be
away
alone.
from everybody.
Right, exactly. But if you realize the way that I took and my perspective of seeing Gabby and Brian being pulled over by the cops, I really felt that Gabby was in distress, but Brian almost in a sense looked very manipulative, like over her. Like he knew how to play the game. Even when the cops got there, he was very like, oh, like very innocent. Like, you know, like who knows what he said, who knows what was going on. But it seemed like she was going through it. Only they know, right? Because why was she hitting him in the first place?
Yes. Or it was another thing that I had told you, and it was like, what if they were just both violent to each other? And then, I mean, it could have been, I'm not saying that she was a violent one, but it could have been that they could have both been violent. And then like Brian, like all of a sudden just freaking snapped and he was just hitting her. But honestly, I don't think that was the first time that he did that.
Yeah, because you can tell that she was bruised already in her arms. And I think she had a bruise around her face as well. Both of them were bruised up.
Yeah.
Both of them were bruised up, and so it was just probably one of those things that it was, I guess, very toxic. And especially, I think in the comments or somewhere along the lines, I saw that, you know, that whole van life and that whole YouTube atmosphere and social media, it gets very romanticized, right? You see the picture, you see the videos, the final outcome of the final post when you post on social media, right? And it looks beautiful. It looks like everybody's living a perfect life, but you don't even know what happens behind the scenes.
You don't even know how many times those clips got cropped.
Yeah, and if they were mad at each other, who knows?
How
right?
many times they replayed the same scene to get it right.
Yeah, exactly. And Gabby and Brian is a perfect example on that, right? They even showed footage when they had to like retake the same scenes and just play out a perfect moment for them to kiss, right? And so, and anyways, yeah, it just, who knows what was really going on behind the scenes, but yeah, Gabby looked in very distressed. I think I have the clip.
And
here.
then what do you think about him proposing to her when they were on the road trip? Because he proposed to her and he didn't even talk to her parents. And he didn't even give her a ring. He was just kind of like, "Oh, you want to marry me?" And that was it.
I don't remember that.
Yeah,
part.
they said that on the documentary.
I don't remember that part. But so he didn't give her a ring or anything.
No,
so
no.
When is it that they
She
proposed?
like it was when they were on the road trip, and he just asked her like, "Oh, you want to marry me?" But he never asked her parents, because you know how her actual parents were separated, so she had like 2 dads and 2 moms.
Yeah.
And he never talked to any of her parents. And then he didn't give her a ring.
Oh, that's right.
And then I guess her family ended up finding out because she posted a picture with Brian, and she was like something that she was engaged or something like that. And then the mom asked her like, "Oh, since when have you been engaged?" And then I guess Gabby told the mom that Brian had just proposed to her, and then they were gonna get a ring later, that she didn't really care for the ring.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna play a little bit of the body cam, so just that way it can, as we're talking about this, maybe you guys can get a perspective on that time of the incident. Quick reminder, we now have a call-in number where you guys can leave us voice messages, video calls. Let us know a story you would want us to share on the podcast, anything you want. The goal is being able to interact with the people that support the channel. Even if you're looking for love, we will find your true love on Hoy Nomas podcast. Also, for anyone that is interested on creating your own channel, we have our Amazon storefront linked in the description where you can find all the cameras we use, the microphones, the lights, the equipment, where all of our podcasts are recorded to. If you need any help with editing services, we are able to produce your entire podcast, edit your short form content from Instagram Reels, TikToks, etc. You can look at all of our content as reference and we got you covered. And finally, if you want to support the channel, you can leave us a super thanks down below, which will help us tremendously, and we'll make sure to highlight that comment on the upcoming podcast and give you a shout out. Now back to the podcast.
Sorry.
Can I get you to step out of the vehicle for me, man?
Yeah.
Just hang tight right there. Do you mind if I take your keys and just put them on your hood?
You got it, buddy. I'm so
Thank
sorry.
you. Oh, no, you're fine.
So right there, he's already saying, "Oh, I'm so sorry." Like he's very like, oh, you know, playing that part. Like, hey, I'm with you guys.
Like she's the crazy one.
Right.
Why don't you come over here? SO229. I have the female that was in the passenger seat separated from the male. Keys are on the hood. You want to tell me what's going on?
Yeah, I don't know. It's just some days I have really bad OCD, and I was just cleaning and straightening up the back of the van before, and I was apologizing to him and saying,
I sure said she was apologizing to him.
Oh yeah.
I'm sorry that I'm so mean, because sometimes I have OCD and sometimes I just get really frustrated. Not like mean towards him. I just like, I guess my vibe is like, I am.
So she said, "Oh, you know what? I have OCD. I was just cleaning, and at times I just like get in this mood, and I was just already apologizing because maybe she wanted to clean up a specific way or something,
Yeah.
And then he was probably a little bit more careless, you know." And yeah, so now me watching this as like I see this girl being Gabby, but you being a mom and us being parents, Cheto, if you see this, right, knock on wood, right, but we have a daughter. If you were to see your daughter in this type of having these type of emotions, seeing this, what would it be your reaction to this?
Well, of course, you would not want her to be with that guy. But me being a girl, like, I'm going to hide it from my parents.
Yeah, but if you were to see her like that.
Oh, dude, I would be so freaking pissed.
Yeah, you like, hey, what the heck's going on? Like, what the heck is he doing to you, right? Mm-hmm. Because, yeah, we're seeing it through just a spectator's eyes. But if you were to see that and have that connection towards, like, if that was your relative, your daughter, your something related to you, would be like, what the heck's going on? Hey, like, talk to me. Is he hurting you, right? Like, and you can already tell that that's not a good relationship.
Yes.
Like in a bad mood. And I was just saying, I'm sorry if I'm in a bad mood. I've just been really stressed. I had so much work I was doing on my computer this morning.
Oh, you see, that's the part when she was like, I had so much work that I was doing on my computer. Like, in her mind, it's a lot. Trust me, like having all this mental pressure on you just to be posting, because she said, oh, I was on my computer, like had a bunch of stuff. So she has this goal in her mind. She's creating all this pressure on wanting to post and wanting to like record. So mentally she's thinking of the different things, and it creates a lot of pressure. Similar to when we were talking about that you wanted to post a TikTok and you didn't even know how to edit.
No, yeah, and I was having a whole ass meltdown.
Yeah, and when you finally like learn how to edit, you know, a couple tears, you shed a couple tears, right? Because there was a lot of pressure that like finally I was able to do it, right? So now you can only imagine, and now she's like trying to like create this whole new life for her, becoming a vlogger. So that's a lot of pressure. Now she don't have her job no more, so she's trying to make this enter her career. Mm-hmm. So you can only imagine the pressure that she's putting on herself.
Yes. Okay, complain it.
No, I just wanted to give that perspective on.
Okay. I thought you
on
were gonna
that.
complain.
No, it's a long video. It's in like an hour and 17 minutes.
Shit.
Yeah, but I just wanted everybody to see that perspective. Or should I play a little bit of Brian's or not?
I think they still interview her for a little
Yeah.
more.
Yeah, but yeah, I just wanted to show how her current condition was when she got pulled over, or both of them got pulled over. But any thoughts of any further thoughts about that case in that scenario?
Like, you really don't think that her mom ever saw the red flags in Brian? Because I'm going to tell you something. As a girl, I think Brian was a red flag from the minute that they both met each other. Because in the documentary, it says that he saw her out on the street and he ran, or he got out from the car. He got out from wherever he was and he ran towards her to like ask her for her phone number.
And what does that give you as a red flag?
I don't know. I just think that's weird.
Yeah. Why? Because you almost seem like, hey, like no regular person would be doing that.
Yeah, like no normal person would be doing that.
So what type of person would that be if somebody does that? Somebody being very pushy, or?
Yeah, I would see that with somebody being like, if somebody were to do that to me, I would be like,
Yeah.
But that's just me. But I don't know. I just feel like that was weird. Or to me, like I just saw it like that. To me, that was a red flag.
Oh, okay. So somebody like me going through Instagram is better. Yeah. Well, actually, you reached out.
Yeah, right. You just said it yourself.
But yeah, okay. Talk to me how everything went down about like when the case scenario of her like actually, being unalived. What was your thought process with that? Because there was a lot of people that played out into seeing Brian after the fact, right? I think he got a ride from some older lady, and I think there was another couple or this other girl that gave him a ride also. What's your thoughts about that?
There was one lady, older lady, that she had gone to the national park because there was like a mass or something going on, and she was the one that picked up Brian, and she dropped him off. So remember that when she dropped him off, Brian was like, no, kind of like, leave me here in the corner. I'll walk over there.
Yeah.
And she made like a joke of like, oh, you don't want your girlfriend to see you like getting dropped off. And he said like, no, it's fine. Like, I'll just walk it.
Oh, and in this case, people are saying that at this time, Gabby had already been dead.
Yeah, I think she was dead. Yeah, he had already killed her by then.
And the crazy part is, I don't know if you remember, but the Holy Bible fell into his hands.
When I saw that the Bible fell into his hands, I'm like, no, he had already like done something to her.
Freaking crazy, dude! Like, what are the odds? Like if this event already happened, and then the Bible lands in your hands,
and then who picks him up? This lady that just came back from mass.
Yeah.
And the other couple saw the van parked like in a certain part of the road.
Yeah. So it's okay. I think we're jumping a little bit. So before actually her being unalived, right? So what happened before that? She was already messaging her mom. She was messaging her mom and her ex-boyfriend at this time.
Yeah. So she was messaging the mom, and the mom told her that to just end the trip, and Gabby told her no. And then I feel like another flag for me was when they were initially gonna leave for the road trip. The mom said that Gabby hugged her and she started crying like really, really bad. And the mom was like, why are you crying like that? And she's like, I don't know, like I don't remember. She said like, oh, I have a weird feeling, or I feel some type of way. And maybe that was just like her gut instinct of like, don't go, but she still went.
Right.
And then and then she texted the mom that she was having like issues with Brian.
Oh, and she asked him like, are you guys broken up?
Yeah. And then I don't think she told her. I think did she tell the mom like, oh, I think I would be a better solo blogger?
Yeah.
I think that's what she told the mom, right?
Right. But then people are saying that it was probably Brian saying that he was the one texting her that.
It could have been.
Yeah.
But to me, my theory is that Brian, okay, so Gabby was texting the ex that her and Brian were going through it, and that she had an idea, kind of like, I'm just done with him and I just want to leave him. So I think that Ryan was like, hold up, like, she's texting her ex and now she's saying that she wants to leave me. Like, he probably thought that she wanted to leave Brian for the ex. That's what I think. And that's what made him snap.
And then Brian saw those texts.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then remember that she called him, and then the ex didn't answer because he was like doing something, and he was like, oh, like,
right,
I'll call her later or something like that.
Yeah.
But he never. That's when she passed away.
Right. A lot of people are thinking that was probably the case that probably like snapped, right? Because if you figure like they left everything, now they're traveling together, only them two, and then you see that your current girlfriend or fiance at that moment is leaving you for her ex. He freaking like probably went on some sort of rampage and did the unthinkable.
Yeah, because think about it, like, if Brian was like upset about Gabby hanging out with the best friend, I don't remember her name, but imagine like him seeing the text with the ex-boyfriend, like, what was he gonna what are you gonna think?
That's true. If he was already jealous of the girlfriend of hers,
exactly.
Now imagine the boyfriend, the ex-boyfriend. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a very good point. Mm-hmm. So, okay, so that event happened that, Brian, took her life. Then he actually admitted after the fact, right, that it was him, but he's saying that, I think I'm not sure if I'm getting it right. Supposedly he saw her in very bad conditions, and then supposedly that he did it for her not to suffer anymore.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Did I
That's
get
what
that
he
right?
wrote on the letter.
Oh, okay. Yeah. But the crazy part was that I think as soon as there was phone records that he was calling the mom or the parents, and right after there was documentation of the parents talking to the lawyer right after.
Yeah, because I think he makes a phone call to the mom for like almost an hour. It was like 50 something minutes. I think it was 55. And after that, he has like a couple phone calls with the parents, but mainly the mom. And then that's when the parents wire like $25,000 to their lawyer.
Crazy.
So it's like,
yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that, I mean, maybe that they didn't put it out in public, but I'm pretty sure with the technology they have, they can pull out like the whole phone call. Like they probably played that on trials or
right
when they went to court or something.
So right before we started recording this podcast, you sent me a TikTok, and it just like it made so much freaking sense because the mom actually wrote a letter.
The mom was another red flag.
Yeah, but the mom. Okay, so pretty much in the documentary they were saying that the mom like freaking like loved her son and she would do everything, and then she wrote that letter that said something along the lines of what exactly?
Oh, like basically saying if you kill anybody, I'll help you like bury the body or hid it. Like she was saying like she wrote all these kinds of crazy things that like I don't think nobody in their right mind would say.
Right.
But you know what? I feel like the mom liked Brian, but more than a son. Kind of like she was in love with him.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what she didn't like Gabby.
Okay, and now the theory is like, okay, if Brian really truly passed, why didn't she do a service funeral for Brian?
Exactly.
Right? So that's when people are speculating that if this mom was crazy in love for her son Brian, but yet again there was no service at all, then that's already something to question.
Exactly.
So that's why people are saying that Brian is still alive.
Yeah, I think he's alive. I don't think he's dead.
Yeah. Why other reasons why you think he's alive?
Well, I mean, what are the odds that his parents found him within an hour of searching the park of where he went missing?
Yeah.
After they had done like a search of I don't know how many, the police had done a search for like I don't know how many days with like dogs and on motorcycles, on all kinds of things, and they hadn't found him.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the parents go and they found him within an hour.
Yeah.
And then the mom, I even think she was like, having a backpack. So they were on some TikToks I saw, they're like, oh, she probably had something in there.
Right. Like that's what they're saying, that she had the backpack, and then she could have already had the evidence that she wanted to find in there already, and be like, oh, she probably pulled it out of her backpack and like, oh, look what I found.
Yeah.
Right? So something that also, there's another speculation out there. I think it's been confirmed, but they're saying that they had a family dentist between the laundries, right? And they're saying that what a coincidence that supposedly all this different time, this time frame that happened, right? And the only thing they found was the bones of Brian, because the body was already decomposed. And the only way they were able to tell that it was Brian, it was because of a tooth or teeth that pretty much went back to Brian Laundrie. So what a coincidence that all of this played out. And I think there was other connections between the laundries, and that they were connected with either the police department or the FBI, something along those lines.
Yeah, I remember I had seen something that, I don't know if it was one of the parents, that they had connections to like law enforcement, and that's why they were like taking forever to find Brian, and they were able to get away with everything they got away with.
Oh, and you know why also they were saying that how the laundries, the parents of Brian, they were taking forever for them to actually like cooperate with the law enforcement and all that. Supposedly the reason why they were doing that is it's for them to give enough time for everything to add up while the search was happening, and for them to finally deciding to go out and search for Brian. It was enough time frame to say that the body had decomposed, but in reality, with that time frame, Brian had enough time to take off wherever he went.
Yes.
So that's the only reason why they were like prolonging the search, for them to actually cooperate, so they can actually have a time frame saying that, oh, look, the body decomposed.
I mean, well, I don't know. I'd have to look it up, but I don't think a month. I think it was like a month I had been missing. I don't think that was enough time for a body to decompose down to the bones. Like,
Yeah.
even I know, like in the documentary, they said that there was like a storm or something like that. But I don't think, even if his body would have been in the water, I don't think it would have decomposed down to the bones.
Yeah, it sounds too.
It sounds like no, because it's like, think about it. When somebody usually dies and they bury them, it's probably gonna take over a year for it to actually be like pure bones.
Yeah, I agree.
So for me, that's another like.
Yeah.
Like, why? No.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what's crazy right now? I'm gonna pull this up. Hopefully, I'm able to pull up this link. Here, let me see if I can pull it up.
But then wouldn't that mean that would be a conflict of interest if the dentist was their family member? Like, why would law enforcement even be like, oh, yeah, like, wouldn't you think they would be like, oh, let's get a second opinion, not just one freaking dentist?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because that's a conflict of interest, because that's your family member. Your family member can say anything about you, like, oh, yeah, it's him.
But then also, if you take into account, there's a lot of shady stuff, and the parents are still living in their house like nothing.
Mm-hmm. And they're still acting like, I feel like they act like their son didn't pass away.
Yeah, because
they're just living their life like normal.
Yeah, the reaction was very dry when they found them, supposedly. Right? So another thing crazy that happened was, after obviously all of this happened, they found Brian, I believe, and then obviously the family heard the bad news about Gabby. The family went back to
where they found Gabby's body.
When they found Gabby's body, and they took a family picture, and they actually threw the ashes around the same area where Gabby was found unalived, and they took this picture, and with this picture you can see an orb.
Dude, that's a huge... I've never seen an orb that big.
Yeah, exactly. Freaking crazy. I've never seen an orb in this form, in this shape, and like you said, the size of it is freaking crazy. Now, people were trying to say that it could have been the camera flash and all that, but I've never even seen a camera flash in that way.
No.
What do you think personally, do you think that that could be possibly Gabby's spirit?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so too. And for it to be like almost centered right there, like right in the
Like she
picture.
was just right in the middle of all of them.
Yeah. That's insane. I've never seen an orb like that. Crazy, huh? And for it to happen like in that specific picture.
Yeah, when everybody was there. Like, it wouldn't have come... Like, I don't think, like, even when they were taking the pictures of the evidence, I don't think an orb would have appeared on that.
Right. And what are your thoughts about the parents throwing the ashes in the place where Gabby's life was taken? Do you feel like that was cool? Do you feel like you would have probably done it elsewhere?
I feel like Gabby would have probably wanted that because that's what she wanted to do for a living. She wanted to be like in the van life.
Yeah, and outdoors.
And she would have been like outdoors and like hiking and
that's true.
And national parks and all of that.
That's
so
true. That's a
I
good
think
point.
that's what she would have wanted.
That's a good point. But yeah, it's so many different like mysteries out there, and I'm not sure if you noticed. I don't know if you saw these posts, right? But in the documentary, you can see that Gabby had a tattoo in her arm, and then I think both of the moms, oh no, it was her best friend had the same tattoo as Gabby, and then I believe it was her mom or her stepmom that had the same tattoo. Like all of them started getting the same tattoo in memory of Gabby.
No, I didn't see
that. You didn't see that?
No.
Yeah, all of them had the same tattoo.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, crazy, huh? I think that's pretty dope for them to keep the memory alive.
Yes.
Anything else you want to add to that?
Oh, dude, you were saying something right now, and I was gonna say something
about the ashes, about Gabby, the national park, about traveling, about the van life. No, nothing rings a bell.
Oh,
but the orb. No. I'm sure you're gonna remember right now.
I don't know. I hope I do. It's because you were saying something, and then I was like, "Oh, like this," but then I didn't want to interrupt you, so I was like, "Okay, hold on, let him finish," and then we jumped to something else, and I forgot.
Oh, okay. Well, maybe here I'll try to say. Okay, so the family went back there. The tattoos, the national parks. Nothing rings a bell.
No,
I hate when that happens. Yeah.
No.
Okay. Okay, so like you were saying, a lot of people think Brian Laundrie is still alive.
I think he is.
I think so too. And then I saw this. This is pretty crazy, right? So let me pull it up real quick. You can see it on that video, that monitor. And so a brief real quick. So Brian Laundrie's parents in backyard, it appears that they were gardening. But many speculate it might be a bunker. And when I first saw this, I'm like, what are they talking about? But when you zoom in and you pay attention to this video, you can see somebody's hand almost reaching out. So let me play it out.
Okay, but why is no one talking about this?
Here, let me rewind it.
Okay, but why is no one talking about this?
Okay, first of all, that looks weird as it is, right? Like
there's just like 2 garden beds.
Oh, okay, 2 garden beds,
and
right?
And then I don't know what the hell's the other thing over there. The other.
Yeah. Okay, but first of all, if the wife, Brian Laundrie's mom is actually gardening, why would the dad be there? He almost just he's just standing there like being there. But if you're gardening, you're out there doing your thing, similar to when you're like cleaning, you're just doing your thing, right? Because that's almost like your time.
He's just like in the way.
Yeah, and it seems like he's almost there like looking out. And if we play the video back, that's exactly what he's doing. Check it out.
No one talking about this.
Look, he's like,
that's
oh
when
shoot.
He realizes like, oh shit, there's
yeah,
something
and
up
he
there.
points to the camera, right? And they right away they take off.
No one talking about
but
this.
Now let me zoom in and see if
you can see him more.
Yeah, check it out.
Okay, but why is no one talking about this? Okay, but why is no
Watch,
one
do you see
talking
that?
about this?
Yes.
What do you see there? Were you
Like
able to
a
see it or
hand
no?
or
Yeah, like a
something
hand.
moved.
So that's exactly what they were saying, that there was like some sort of a hand there
Okay,
pulling
but
the
why
watch.
is no one talking about this?
You couldn't really see it. Let's play it
Okay,
again.
but why
Right
is
there.
no
Yeah,
one
there.
talking
You see
about
it?
It's
this?
like this comes out.
Yeah, yeah. It's super weird how that is, or like I wonder how that bunker would be or whatnot. Right, but you can actually see something like reaching out.
Mm-hmm.
And now another post. Now to take it back to this other post, it's so okay. We saw that, right, and then somebody runs into the Brian Laundrie's parents at I think it was outside of a grocery store, and he starts questioning. But look at what they're buying.
Is your son still alive? Have you been in contact with him? Where do you think he is? Is he really in that park? Did he really go to the park? Did you help him?
So this happened right after like all this incident is happening. So this guy.
So after the hand thing?
Right, I think so. I don't know. I don't have the exact time frame, but this guy's actually questioning, hey, what happened to Brian? Is he still alive? And look what their parents are buying, right? They're buying a bunch of waters. And I think somebody said that they bought
Like an air filter.
Yeah, an air filter. So why would he be buying these type of groceries or supplies, right? Unless you're like hiding somebody out or you're preparing for being at a location for a long period of time. So.
And then didn't you say that freaking Brian went live on his IG after he was like dead?
Oh,
or they said, oh, we found him that he was dead, and he was like live for like I don't know how many seconds. He was on a boat.
Yeah. That he accidentally went live for a couple seconds. Oh, that's a good point. I forgot about that.
Like, what are they gonna say, that somebody else had his phone or somebody else was logged into his account?
Crazy.
Nah, he's not dead.
I don't think so. I don't think so either. I really think it's just too many. There's too many coincidences. There's too many questions there. One, like we said, the parents not showing any emotions. There was no service or funeral for Brian. Like we said, the mom would have been like devastated if she loved him that much. Right. Mm-hmm. And obviously you would want to like do some sort of memoir for your son, and none of that happened.
Yes.
I think that it was the sister and the brother-in-law of Brian. Also, you never saw them like sad or anything like that.
No, nobody.
And if that was a true case, everybody would be like, they would have even been out there in the media or, showcasing their sadness.
Yes.
So I don't know. What do you think?
I think Brian is still alive.
Yeah.
I don't care what nobody says. He's still alive.
Where could he be, though? And still in that bunker? You know what I mean? Like, a lot of people are saying, hey, he's long gone. He's probably like in Mexico or something like that.
I mean, he could, but I don't know. Like, somebody doing something like that, I don't know how they could like eventually live a normal life.
Yeah.
Like, he's always gonna be thinking that he killed her if he even cares.
Right.
But I don't know, dude. Like, imagine like he gets like with somebody else, and then he's obviously hiding it from that person, and that person finds out. I don't know. It's just, I think it would be hard for him to make a life.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and then what if he actually like finally passes away? Like, what's gonna happen then, right?
Yeah.
Like, are they just gonna hide it out or something? I think it has to be somewhere like something along the lines of somewhere in Mexico, that if something like this happens, that like nobody in the U.S. will find out.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
What do you think about the parents like never wanting to tell anything to Gabby's parents?
That's messed up, man. That's very messed up. They obviously didn't really care for her. Like, all they cared about was her. I mean, him.
Yeah.
That's messed up. Like, hey, man, like, they lost their daughter, and you can't just come forward and speak to them. That's just a lot. But at the end of the day, I think it was just their only worry was to protect him.
Yes.
Right? Because, yeah, obviously they probably felt bad, maybe. It didn't even seem like it.
No.
At all. But I think their main concern was finding
Like,
how
how
to...
are we going to keep Brian safe, or where are we going to send him
and
to?
protect him. Yeah. Crazy. Let me see if Hoy Nomas chat has a little bit more of speculations or any...
Ask AI or Oinomas chat GPT if they think Brian is alive or not.
Hey, what's going on, Hoy Nomas chat? I have a question. We're currently doing a podcast about the Gabby Petito and Brian Laundrie case. Is there any theories out there that Brian is still alive somewhere?
Yes, there's still theories circulating that Brian Laundrie might be alive. Some speculate he could have escaped and is living off the grid, while others believe he might be in another country. However, there hasn't been any concrete evidence to support these claims. It's a topic that continues to spark debate and speculation among followers of the case.
What are some theories and reasons why people believe that he would still be alive?
People speculate Brian Laundrie could still be alive due to perceived inconsistencies in the investigation and the lack of definitive proof of his death. Some believe he might have had assistance or the ability to live undetected. Additionally, the absence of conclusive evidence in the recovered remains has fueled these theories, but these remain unsubstantiated speculations.
What was those findings in Brian's passing that are causing some debates?
The debate stems from the skeletal remains found, which were identified as Brian Laundrie's through dental records. Some people question the thoroughness of the identification process, suggesting that dental records alone may not be entirely reliable. There's also speculation about the conditions in which the remains were found, leading to doubts and various conspiracy theories about the case.
I somewhere online also heard that I think the Laundries had a relative that was a dentist. Was that ever confirmed by any chance?
I couldn't find any confirmation that the Laundries had a relative who was a dentist. However, dental records were indeed used to identify Brian's remains.
And that was the only way that they were able to identify Brian, right?
Yes, the primary method used to identify Brian Laundrie's remains was through dental records. This is a common and reliable method in forensic identification, especially when other means are not available.
Now, there was a video going around in the web that there was the Brian's parents. They were supposedly gardening, and a lot of people are saying that they were able to see a hand sticking out of this garden bed. And so a lot of the speculations are saying that maybe Brian was in some sort of bunker. Would that be possible somewhere in, did they live in Florida? Chilo?
Yes.
In Florida, would that be possible to have a bunker?
Yes, the Laundries live in Florida. While it's theoretically possible to have a bunker there, there's no concrete evidence to support the idea that Brian was hiding in one. The speculation likely arose from the unusual video, but it's important to rely on verifiable information.
Gotcha. Yes, I agree. And any other fun facts about the case currently right now? Now that it's been on Netflix, anything else?
Recently, a witness reported seeing Brian Laundrie acting erratically and allegedly slapping Gabby Petito in Utah 2 weeks before her death. This incident preceded a police stop in Moab, where the couple was separated for the night. Additionally, the Netflix documentary has highlighted the role of FBI agent Loretta Bush, who was instrumental in the investigation.
Yeah, but anything current, like current events now in 2025?
Currently, there aren't many new developments in the case itself. However, the Netflix documentary has sparked renewed public interest and discussions about the handling of domestic violence and missing persons cases. There's also been an increased focus on social media's role in solving high-profile cases like this one.
Yeah, that was for sure something that at the very end they were highlighting that this case in specific got a lot of media attention, but there's so many other cases out there that they were hardly ever talked about.
Absolutely. This case really underscored how media attention can drive an investigation forward. It's a reminder that there are many other cases that deserve the same level of public attention and effort. It's also sparked important conversations about how social media can play a role in raising awareness for these lesser-known cases.
Copy that. Thank you, Nomas chat. You're always a great help into these podcasts and the lives that actually we just went live yesterday and you helped out a lot.
You're very welcome. I'm glad I could help. If you need anything for your next live or podcast, just let me know.
Thank you, bro.
You're welcome.
Oh, I remember something now.
Okay, I knew you were going to remember.
It was, I don't think it was, or maybe it would have been the same thing from earlier, but remember how I told you that when they found Gabby, that they had in the search of finding Gabby, they found like 10 other bodies?
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
A lot of things happen in national parks for some reason.
I honestly think though that they find who they want to find, because all of those people, like a lot of them were Native American. They were like Asian, black people. So I mean, I don't think they're gonna post somebody like, oh, an Asian person or somebody else from a minority on the news, just like how they did with Gabby.
Yeah, that was the going back and forth, saying that because she was Caucasian, that's why the media got a lot of movement and attention pretty much across the world.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But yeah, you're right. A lot of those other cases were never really brought up to light. But now, I mean, there's social media, a lot more social media now. So I think it'd probably be different if it takes off and it goes viral, then it's going to catch some attention.
Yeah.
But yeah, and anything else that you would want to add? Anything else that comes to mind? While you think about this, I just want to say every Wednesday we have a full podcast and different episodes. And currently right now, every Sunday I've been going live at 8 o'clock. So if you're new to the channel, every Wednesday you can expect a new podcast. Sundays live 8 o'clock. That's the moment that I bring up a couple different topics, and that's a moment when you guys can drop comments in the live. I can pretty much, I go back and forth. You guys can even call into the hotline. And it's very, very interactive. I'm currently 4 episodes into the lives. So next episode is going to be live number 5. So it's very, very new. So you can be part of the evolution of these lives and be part of this community. Also, if you made it to this point of the podcast, let's drop an emoji. What emoji should they be dropping? A tree? Would be for the national park?
A tree. I think there's an emoji of a rock.
A rock, a tree, a rock, and is there a van? No, huh?
Yeah, there's a car. I think there is a van.
Okay, tree, rock, and a van if there's a van. But yeah, any final words? Anything else you would want to add?
I'm trying to remember what I was going to say earlier and I can't remember.
We're
going to go to sleep and be like, babe, ya me acordé.
Yeah. Drop it in the comments if you remember.
All right.
So yeah, so we're good?
Yeah.
All right, so once again, my name is Angel Houseman. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Yeah, final words.
And that's it.
Cool. Till next time. It's a greater risk, not taking a risk. Follow your dreams. Remember that every day that you wake up in good health, you are truly blessed. There's no money that would be able to replace that. And till next time.
Bye.
Hoy no más.